One team that we've had a lot of respect for and a lot of coverage and admiration for is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, a lot of it was surrounded after, they drafted Trevor Lawrence and all that because, I still see a lot of positive with this young man. He is going to be, I think, here's the thing about Trevor Lawrence. Everybody talks about how he's got all the intangibles, all the, what's or whatever you want to call it. Like, the draft people, they're all going, blah, he can do this, blah, blah. There's just some things that you can just clearly see. Now, with my peepers, when I watch the tape, there's just some throws that this man can make on the run or just in the middle of being pressured that I'm just like, I really don't think, other than maybe a few like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, I don't know that there's a lot of other quarterbacks that can make those throws. That's just the harsh reality of the situation. There's just not a lot of players that can do that have his type of talent. Now, number one, I have to apologize for the font color on here because I can't find an actual teal to work with this. I'm sorry. I'm working with it. I'm doing my best. So apology number one. Now, number two, I think when it comes to the Jaguars, they have more talent than a lot of people give them for. We've given them credit for. Obviously, we've talked about James Robinson, Trevor Lawrence. The receivers look good. I think a tight end would be, O'Shaughnessy has his moments, but obviously Tim Tebow wasn't the answer. That's unfortunate. We love Tim Tebow. But I think when you look at this, I think the Jaguars are a team that are very talented, obviously at the quarterback position, and there's a lot of room to grow from Lawrence, which we've seen over the last couple of weeks. But there needs to be some major mindset changes. Obviously, it starts with a new head coach. I don't know who that is, but it needs to be I believe it needs to be an offensive-minded head coach offense-minded head coach, whatever, that will take Trevor Lawrence to the next level because he's the future. I know Zach Wilson beat him yesterday, and Wilson looked really good as well. But there's just some things that Lawrence just does better. When you mold a quarterback, my point is that Trevor Lawrence fits that mold. Every single box he checks is. Now, I think it does come down to the fact that the Vikings need to find a way, the Jaguars, sorry about the flag in the back. The Jaguars need to find a way to make sure that they set him up in the best possible way moving forward in the future. And it starts with the head coach. But after that, I think it all comes down to the fact that they need to make moves. Now, what do I mean by moves? Obviously, head coach, that's step number one. That's offensive-minded, and bring in some defensive pieces. But they have got some draft capital, okay? Now, I do think they can do a couple things in free agency, helping to shore up the offensive line. That will come down the pipe as we get more into the offseason. But what I'm referring to when I say moves is right here. They have 11 picks in the 2022 NFL draft, including, I believe they just locked up the first overall selection in this year's draft. So we're talking about guys like Aiden Hutchinson. The tackle from Alabama, who I'm blanking on for some reason, Neal, I believe. Whatever. The point of the matter is the fact that there is so much talent in this draft, and the fact that the Jaguars have selected, they have made room and found a way to get the number one selection again this year, I think is nothing short of. Well, it's not necessarily a miracle, but we all could kind of see it coming because, Travis Etienne, when he went down, I think a lot of the offensive explosion went down there. But, we'll just see how the rest of this goes. But, Aiden Hutchinson, like we mentioned, now, Kayvon Thibodeau, I think that's how you say his name, but he's been absolutely fantastic this year. You also got guys like Derek Stingley Jr., that's right, the corner out of LSU. Now, I really just think it depends on what, even Evan Neal, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I think there's a lot of different ways here that the Jaguars can find a way to bolster their entire offense and defense, their entire team for that matter. But the fact of the matter is they need to make moves. Now, they have, I don't know if you saw, they have 4 6th-round picks. I don't know. They had 2 or 3 second-round picks last year. Tyson Campbell was one. And I'm blanking on the other one off the top of my head. But at the end of the day, they need to cash in on some of these other picks because I think that they can do some damage once they start making some moves. I'm talking they need to go after people in the draft. They need to find weapons, they need to find protection, and they need to find defensive pieces for this team moving forward. Now, this is not rebuilding. This is the new coach, the new one that comes in. This is the part of the game where you do not need to draft a quarterback. No, this entire draft is setting up Trevor Lawrence for victories, for moving forward. You've got a running back in James Robinson. You got quarterback. Okay, you can cross those two things off the list. The rest of this thing, well, I mean, you also got Laviska Shenault and all those boys on the receiving core, but defensively, I think there needs to be some investments, and I think I think that also offensive line clearly is another thing. We mentioned tight end already, but at the end of the day, there needs to be some moves, and the Jaguars need to make them. Like, absolutely, it's do or die. Like, this is when it comes down to it. You have Trevor Lawrence, who we're talking way down the road, but could decide or not to sign his an extension with the Jaguars. And if they get him the talent, and the thing is, we brag on a lot of teams, being able to set up their quarterbacks and not have very good defenses. I don't think the Jaguars need to have a top 10 defense. Fact of the matter is, I don't think they need to have a top 15 defense. They could probably be in that 18, 19, 20 range. And as long as they get Trevor Lawrence the protection and weapons, I think he can do anything. I think he is that talented that it doesn't matter. He is that Aaron Rodgers type-esque talent. Now, he's not Aaron Rodgers. We know that. But that's how talented he is. Like, just the type of throws. That's who it reminds me of every time I watch it. It's just, as a GM, as a quarterback's coach, as an offensive coordinator, you foam at the mouth for a player like this. And the Jaguars have one. So this entire offseason needs to be making moves to ensure that Trevor Lawrence has weapons and an offensive line, and the rest of that happens. So I think it comes down to it. BPA every single pick here, and pretty soon the Jaguars will not be a joke. They will absolutely not be a joke. They're going to be a tough team to contend with. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome, and we love every single one of you. Check out our website at thesportsbeatpodcast.com. Also in the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. We would greatly appreciate it. And then finally, give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And if you have anything you'd like us to cover, make sure you send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com. Or put in the comment section down below, and we would be glad to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Jacksonville Jaguars needing to make moves in the offseason.